Once upon a time in the land of Israel, there lived a poor little maid who had a very important message from God. This tiny voice would soon shake the foundations of pride, change the course of a great general's life, and teach everyone around them an unforgettable lesson about faith and humility. Now, this young girl was just a servant, a maid in the house of a mighty Syrian general named Naaman. Naaman, who was a brave warrior and a man of status, had become very wealthy through his military victories. But lately, something was bothering him. He had a terrible skin disease called leprosy, which made him feel ashamed and isolated. And no amount of money or power seemed to be able to cure it. The little maid, though she was barely old enough to understand the troubles of men, saw the sadness in her master's heart. She knew that he was a good man despite his flaws, and she wanted to help him. Now, she had heard stories about a prophet in Israel named Elisha, who was said to be able to perform miracles. So she believed that maybe he could help her master. But here's the thing. You see, Naaman, the general, he didn't believe in the God of Israel. And he wouldn't even listen to the little maid if it wasn't for two very important things. First, he couldn't help but notice how full of faith the young girl was. She spoke about God with such certainty and conviction that it made him curious. Second, and perhaps most importantly, he was desperate to find a solution to his leprosy. It had been bothering him for a long time, and he was willing to try anything at this point. So now, mustering all the courage she could, the little maid decided to tell her master about the prophet Elisha. If only my master would listen, she thought, maybe he could get better. So she said to Naaman, if you really want to get rid of your leprosy, I know someone who can help you. There is a prophet in Israel who can cure you. Now, Naaman was skeptical, very skeptical. But something in the young girl's voice made him curious. Maybe it was her unwavering belief, or maybe it was his desperation to find a cure. Either way, he decided to listen. Naaman, being a powerful man, was used to getting his own way. He could easily crush anyone who dared defy him. But here he was, listening intently to the advice of a young maid. He asked her, tell me more about this prophet. What is his name? Where does he live? And the little maid, with a big smile on her face, replied, his name is Elisha. He lives in a small town called Samaria. All you have to do is go there and ask for his help. Now, Naaman wasn't a fool. He knew that seeking help from a so-called prophet was a risky move. But what did he have to lose? His leprosy had made him miserable, and the words of the young girl had given him a glimmer of hope. He had nothing to lose. So he decided to take the risk. He went to the king of Syria and asked for some time off. The king was suspicious, but he granted Naaman's request. Then, taking a few servants with him, including the little maid who had given him this advice, Naaman set out on a journey to meet the prophet Elisha. When they arrived in Samaria, Naaman went straight to Elisha. But instead of giving him a warm welcome, Elisha acted strangely. He simply told Naaman to wash in the Jordan River and then put on new clothes. Naaman was confused. He had expected a grand ceremony, maybe some kind of magic spell. But washing in a river seemed like a very simple and ordinary thing to do. To make things worse, Naaman was a proud man. He considered himself too good to wash in a river, especially one as ordinary as the Jordan. But something in the prophet's calm eyes made him obey. Perhaps it was the sight of so much faith in one small person. Or perhaps it was his desperation to be cured. Either way, Naaman did as Elisha had instructed. He took off his dirty clothes and stepped into the water. And as he came out of the river, he noticed that his skin was clear and smooth. The leprosy had vanished. Naaman was overjoyed. He fell to his knees and thanked God for his healing. Then he turned to the little maid and said, you were right. Our God is indeed the God of all gods. He has healed me. From that day on, Naaman became a believer. He realized that true healing came not from the potions of mortal men, but from the power of the Most High God. And the little maid, well, she continued to serve her master, always remembering the day when her small voice helped bring about a great miracle. Naaman returned to his home country, sharing the good news about the God of Israel and the healing power of Elisha. People who had known him as a proud and boastful general were amazed by the transformation in him. They couldn't believe that a mere prophet from a small town had been able to cure his leprosy and change his arrogant heart. Many wanted to know about the God of Israel, and some even began to believe in him. But Naaman, once so powerful and mighty, was now seen as a changed man. He no longer boasted about his victories or showed off his wealth. Instead, he spoke humbly of his encounter with Elisha and the God of Israel. As for the little maid, she remained an important part of Naaman's life. Her faith had been a guiding light for him, leading him not only to physical healing, but also to spiritual wholeness. The people of Naaman's household respected her more than ever, knowing that it was because of her that their master had received his miracle. So, friends, from this story, we learn that no matter how small or powerless we may feel, we can still do great things with God. Just like the little maid, we all have the potential to bring about big changes in the world. Sometimes it just takes a little faith and a lot of courage. Also, we learn that God doesn't always work in the ways that we expect him to. Sometimes his methods may seem simple or even ordinary, like washing in a river. But it's important to remember that God is in control, and even the smallest action can lead to extraordinary results. Lastly, this story teaches us the importance of listening to those who are younger than us. We might think that age makes us wiser, but sometimes it's the young and humble who have the clearest vision of God's will. So the next time you hear someone younger than you, don't just dismiss their words as those of a naive child. Instead, listen with an open heart, because even a small voice can speak God's truth. Well, friends, that's the end of our story today. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your family and friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any of our wonderful stories. Until next time, stay blessed.